Specifically trans kids. Thank you, Karl, for your tweet. These anti-trans lawsuits are little more than a mean-spirited attempt to turn back the clock on equality in Virginia. Our students deserve better than this bigotry and hate. It was Trans Visibility Day, and it's just, is this all they've got? You can't play in any of our reindeer games? Is that where we are?
They're obsessed. They're obsessed with bathrooms, and that's about it. You know, in 2020, Virginia passed a law saying that local school divisions had to have protections in place for trans and gender expansive students. And so they do. And now these groups are suing, and they chose the day before Trans Visibility Day to launch their lawsuits.
Yeah.
Because they're those kinds of people.
Yeah. I mean, Karl, thank you. It is such a tiny percentage of people we're talking about. And once again, it's a problem. They're trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist. Like, for instance, as you know, most doctors, all of them won't do surgeries, trans surgery on anyone under 18. So they're trying to legislate things that already exist that are not, I mean, it's insane watching Biden do all these huge things, COVID relief, infrastructure, all of these amazing, what he's doing on vaccines. And then they're just like these little small ball social, just performance artist, mean. Like, I don't even know what they are. Like,
it's a distraction
social war things. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they've got to have that portion of their base intact in order to be viable. Yeah. And so they throw them crumbs. Meanwhile, they try to strip people of their voting rights because they can't win on a level playing ground. Yeah. I've watched them flailing on television trying to explain why they want to deny people waiting in line that they're forcing to wait in line to vote.
Right.
Deny them water or food just to make it more comfortable for them. So it's not surprising. All they have left is hate. It is basically, I mean, if Republicans were playing the Catskills, this is what it would look like. A couple hat tips to misogyny, homophobia, transphobia, and then a denial of anybody's right to vote.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Joe Walsh, former Republican, said a political party that makes Donald Trump its leader is a political party that will spawn a whole bunch of Matt Gaetzes and Marjorie Taylor Greenes. I mean, this is who they are now, right? It's just the most ridiculous, just con men, grifters, criminals, QAnon conspiracy theorists. I mean, it's a motley
morally
crew.
bankrupt. I mean, it's like To Catch a Predator over there.
Yeah.
With Matt Gaetz. Not the least of which all these conspiracy theories we're getting from the others. But this is, again, he's exactly right. This is what you're left with when the titular head of the party, see what I said there, is the Orange Menace from South Florida.
Is a boob. Yes, the titular head is a boob.
Yeah, that's good. That's very good.
That's funny. Yeah. I wrote that. We wrote that together. Okay, that was good.
We'll be here all week.
We will be here all. I will be here all week. Karl, but I mean, you make a really great point that it's just, I guess we should be happy politically, you and I, that they have chosen to be the party of Trump, because it's just, you look at the polling, there's a reason Biden is polling so well, right? You're just like, oh, okay, thank God most of us are sane, right?
Well, and the contrast couldn't be starker at this point. Biden is talking about big things, right? And what's the best they can offer? We don't want to build back worse. I mean, they can't even get like the insults right.
And Trump, I know we shouldn't even talk about him, but I find it entertaining because it's so pathetic, whether he's crashing a wedding or just issuing these ridiculous statements because he can't be on Twitter. He's just like, he is such a stompy baby at this point. You can tell like it is driving him mad, Biden's approval ratings and whatever. So this was the latest. Oh my God, like he's going to do this now, like, right? Everything Biden does, he can't help himself, right? Like the COVID CNN special, he's saying, I have to put out a statement from the president, Dr. Fauci can't throw a baseball in Deborah Burks, no one liked her, and Dr. Fauci didn't even want to be in a meeting with it. And us, it's just like, I can't. Somebody on Twitter said, I still can't believe this guy was president for even one day, right?
No, I mean, even one day of this guy felt like 20 years.
But you want to, this is because, can I just say, because he never got infrastructure done. It was a running joke that every week was infrastructure week.
Every week is infrastructure week.
He put out a statement yesterday about, it's calling Biden's infrastructure plan an attack on the American dream. Oh my God.
Oh my
Joe Biden's radical plan to implement the largest tax hike in American history is a massive giveaway to China and many other countries and will send thousands of factories, millions of jobs, trillions of dollars to these competitive nations. The Biden plan will crush American workers, decimate U.S. manufacturing, giving special tax privileges to outsourcers, foreign and giant multinational corporations. Okay. Joe Biden's cruel and heartless attack on the American dream must never be allowed to become federal law, just like our southern border went from best to worst, is now in a shambles. Oh my God. He's really losing it.
I mean, it's almost like he thinks the American dream was just a dream about an infrastructure plan ever becoming law.
Right.
And it's no, he's
Biden's
going to be jealous.
Joe Biden's getting everything done that he screwed up in days. The COVID, the vaccine distribution, the infrastructure plan, the COVID relief plan. I mean, it really is. I have to say, politically, Karl, it is pretty extraordinary, even for those of us that marinate in this, right?
If you piece together what he's after here, he's after things that are broadly popular, not just with the plugged in, but with the people who don't plug in and only hear about big picture things that impact their lives. So people, they know about the COVID response. They know about the vaccine availability. They know about the fact that we're meeting and beating all of these goals that are set by the administration.
Yeah.
And now they're going to know about it when this infrastructure plan passes and they see projects popping up all over the place.
Thank you. And Karl, this as a political strategist for so long. Buried in the new Morning Consult political poll is an eye-popping statistic. Voters by a 2-to-1 margin prefer a $3 trillion infrastructure plan that includes tax hikes on people making $400,000 and more, and corporations over one that exclude those tax hikes. I mean, I think that's the scariest thing for Republicans. I think people get it now.
It almost makes you wonder how many people would support a $4 trillion plan.
Yeah.
Like how long until you get to 50-50? I'm guessing it'd probably be about $5 or $6 trillion.
But also
this
is over 8 years. And also, please remember, there's only less than 1% of people make over $400,000 a year. It is not, and then this was another great tweet. I don't know, maybe it's a crazy idea, but if you're a big company and you use roads and bridges and tunnels and other amenities of Americans' infrastructure, maybe you could help pay for it along with the rest of us. And that obviously is wildly popular, right?
Well, what's crazy about all of this is that not only do these Republican base voters have little chance of ever being in that 1% of people who would experience a tax hike, they probably don't know anybody in that 1% either.
Yeah.
They're not even 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon away from knowing somebody in that tax bracket. So, but this is what they count on, right? This lie that Trump likes to spin about the American dream of, if you vote for us, we'll get you there, rather than just helping people right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like they're just there to, block and try and, make Biden look bad or hope that Biden fails. I mean, this Wisconsin
I think that is the legislative term for it.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Legislatively
yes, it is.
block.
It's filibuster and then the latter.
Yes.
Buzz, kill, blocking is what they're good at. But the Wisconsin Supreme Court struck down Governor Tony Evers' statewide mask mandate, ruling that the Democrat exceeded his authority by issuing the order. It's the latest legal blow to attempts by Evers to control the coronavirus. I mean, and meanwhile, every expert, Karl, is saying the numbers are going back up again. We're going into a fourth surge. This is exactly the wrong time to do this.
I saw a great meme on Facebook where it was basically these people camped out in like a Save-On or a convenience store, saying, "Well, we're hearing reports that there are fewer zombies out there, so I guess it's okay to go outside."
Ready outside, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, it's just, and as you said earlier, Karl, it's just that is their only idea. How do we, just please stop the hands of time and demographics and just keep people from voting long enough to cling on to power? I mean, who is it, Chris, who said something? It was the stupidest analogy, some right-winger, about oh, there's long lines at Disneyland. Is that, ride suppression?
Oh, yeah.
Who was it? I
Yeah.
don't. Yeah, but
Ben Shapiro. It was Ben Shapiro.
Shapiro, right? Daniel Fee
Yep.
said if Disney had one line for black voters that was 6 hours long and another line for white visitors that was 15 minutes long, it would be discrimination and rider suppression. P.S. You're really bad at analogies. Thank you.
Yes.
That's the difference. Is yes, there's and by the way, you can pay at Disney, right, to get in a line that is much faster.
You sure can, and
this
people do.
Voting's not supposed to be like that, right? I mean.
No, they've designed it like this. I mean, they've been caught every election cycle for years now. I think it was in 2018 where they discovered that they were shutting down not only voting locations in predominantly black areas, but they were shutting down places to get your voter ID in predominantly black areas.
Right.
This is what it's all about. That's why you never hear a proposal from Republicans about making it easier to vote in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
They don't even take their restrictive approach and say, and here's how we're going to make it easier for everyone else.
Right.
They don't care.
Yeah, I don't have the figures right in front of me, Carl, but it's so provably true. What they have done the studies on the wait lines in black areas and the wait lines in white areas. It is not an accident, and as I keep saying,
there are even parts of this country where people are automatically sent absentee ballots when they live in very rural areas far from polling places. So you tell me about who's bending over backwards to make sure white rural voters get their votes in and making it harder for urban black voters to vote.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, so many issues intersect right now, Carl. I mean, if you're watching the Derek Chauvin trial, I mean, it's whether it's voting rights in Georgia or this trial, I mean, I just really pray for something because you just think this could not be clearer. And you have yet another witness breaking down, crying on the stand. And you think all of these normal people showed 1,000 times more empathy than Chauvin or any of the police. I mean, they're like, yes, we're upset. We just watched you murder somebody, right? I mean, it's and the fact that they feel guilt, right? When Chauvin shows zero remorse for what he did, right?
Mm-hmm. They show humanity, and I think that's what's lacking in a lot of these conversations is any shred of humanity. Yeah. You shouldn't have to put yourself in somebody else's shoes to feel for them or to understand that there's a problem.
And Veronica tweeted, I've never seen that body cam footage. Did you see that yesterday? George Floyd was scared the entire time. He was compliant. It's unbelievable that they're trying to make him the aggressor. It's all on video. It's all there. He was scared and pleading. The gentle giant was rightfully scared. I mean, at no time was he aggressive or violent toward them. It's it's been upsetting watching, right? I think we're all
on the edge of our seat waiting. We've seen this play out before and we're all worried. And we're hopeful that justice will be done here. But look, the contrast right now in this country could not be starker. Again, you've got a president and a Congress that are thinking about the big picture and going after things that are broadly popular. And they're broadly popular because they have impact on lots of people's lives.
Yeah.
They're not just political, weapons here. They're broadly popular because people need them. And then the other side is doing everything they can to make sure that they don't lose elections in the future by rigging the game.
And all the issues, Carl, they really do intersect. What the new study said, COVID was the third leading cause of deaths in America last year. And what every expert has said, if anything, there's an undercount of COVID deaths. So all those people conspiracy theorying about, oh, no, they're overcounting. These doctors and experts are like, no, these people died of COVID. If they would not have died of their underlying conditions if it were not for COVID. It's like them trying to say George Floyd died of a drug overdose. It's like, no, sans Derek Chauvin's knee on his neck, he would not have died, right? I mean,
the cognitive dissonance is astounding. I mean, these are the people that say, don't take the vaccine. It's a plot by Bill Gates. But by the way, give Trump credit for getting the vaccine done. These are the same people who say COVID is a hoax. Oh, but you're overcounting how many people died from the hoax.
Right.
I mean, none of it makes sense because they have to twist themselves into little, bigoted pretzels to try and rationalize being on the wrong side of every opportunity here.
Yeah, and everybody starts to drive me crazy, including Bill Maher, who I think fat shames all the time, for people with COVID, like, oh, it's people that, yes, but they wouldn't have died of being overweight. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yes, we have an obesity problem in this country, but it's just the victim shaming on either side, or just trying to minimize it when we're getting to 600,000 people dead. I mean, it's hard for any of us.
What do you say to a family whose father grew up in an urban environment and was 10 times more likely to develop childhood asthma and died because he was asthmatic? What do you say to that guy and his family? It wasn't his fault.
Yeah. All right, Carl, that was good for me. I want to have a cigarette now. And I don't smoke. And that would be another underlying condition. And that's how good it was, Carl. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it.
Oh boy.
That's what I'm here for.
I believe children and Karl Frisch are the future, mister. Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Carl.
they are.